Hello everyone, I'm Michelle Smith and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, then welcome. I'm so glad you found me. In today's crafting adventure, I'm going to show you step by step how to make this beautiful lemon wreath. I just wanted to take a moment to say a special thank you to my subscribers. You guys mean the world to me and I wouldn't be here without you. Thanks so much for all your love, support, and your positive feedback. I really do love this wreath. It's perfect. You can put it up in early spring and leave it out all the way through fall. Let me show you how to make it. To get started, you're going to need a working wreath form. If you have not seen me make one of these, I will have a link in the description box below to a short video that'll teach you how to make one. The only adjustment that I made is the ones that I would attach on the inside of the ring, I moved to the center ring. And the reasoning for that is my sign is a little large and I want it to go right in the center. And I actually want this one to go down kind of underneath the mesh. So as you can see, once I get that attached, I'm only going to have availability on the outer two rings. So that's why I had to move them inside. Okay. This is the sign that I'm going to be using on my wreath. Now I made this sign. If you would like to see how I made it, I will also link this tutorial in the description box below. Now to prep your sign, you're going to need a little bit of floral wire. You can get this from Dollar Tree, and you'll need a couple pipe cleaners cut in half. Now my sign has a hole in it right up here at the top, so I took some floral wire, put one through the hole, one over the top, twisted it in the back. So I will attach it to a crossbar using that. Directly across, I did a pipe cleaner. And then I laid it in place and marked where two other crossbars were, because I want to make sure I attach them to the crossbars and glued them on. Now before we start attaching any deco mesh, I'm going to attach my sign, because like I said, I want it to rest underneath the mesh and it'll just be easier to attach it now than later. So get it placed where you want it. You need to make sure that it hits those crossbars. And then flip it over. And just pull those pipe cleaners around those crossbars. Tighten them down and give them a good twist. Same thing with the floral wire. Just make sure everything's nice and snug. In the description box below is a complete list of all the tools and materials I used on the project. So you can see my sign is attached and it is nice and snug. You want to make sure that all of your working pipe cleaners are pulled out and standing up. And then you can also go ahead and trim down and tuck down the pipe cleaners in the back. Now I have all those pipe cleaners cut and trimmed, and I also have the wire wrapped and down so it will not scratch the door. We have our sign attached. It's nice and sturdy. Now I went around my wreath frame, and anything that was attached to the outside I just pulled straight out. The ones that are attached on the second ring I pulled up and opened. We're going to be starting with those. This is the mesh that we're going to be using, one roll of 10-inch mesh. This is 10 inch by 30 feet. I picked this mesh up on sale at Joann's. It's regularly $9.99 and I got it for $3.99. Whenever they have a good sale like that and I know they're carrying this type of mesh, I always go down and buy several rolls. So you can use this mesh or any neutral mesh that's 10 inches at 30 feet. Now to get started, you just want to grab your ends and you scrunch them together. And I like to start on the inner ring. It just makes it easier for me. So then you take those ends that are scrunched together, you place it in one of the inner ring pipe cleaners there. Pull tight and give it a good twist or two. You're also going to need something to measure with. I'm going to be using my ruler. Now we're going to be doing the poof method first and then go back and fill in with the curl method. You want to measure each of your poofs at 10 inches. So you just start where you attached your pipe cleaner. You measure out at 10 inches. Pinch, you go to the next pipe cleaner. Place it in there where you pinched it at 10 inches and then pull tight and twist. You want to do that all the way around the center until you get back to where you started from. If you enjoy craft tutorials and learning new craft techniques, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I do upload new content every week. And if you hit the notification bell, you'll be the first to know every time I upload new content. Okay, we're back to where we started. At this point, you want to drop directly below to the pipe cleaner below. Just pull it straight down. Give it one good twist. And then continue your 10-inch poofs all the way around the outside until you come back to where you started. So I've gone all the way around the outside. Now I'm back to where I started. After you get it attached to that pipe cleaner, you want to leave it about an inch and then trim your mesh. Now you're going to set this aside. This is what's left of that roll. We're going to use the rest of this to fill it in. You just want to go around it and make sure that all of your pipe cleaners are pulled up so you can easily find them. And then go through and open up your poofs. It'll make a very large difference to take a few minutes to go through and open them up. And I usually go through the center and then I move to the outside and do the outside. Okay, so I have all my poofs fluffed and all my pipe cleaners lifted up. So we're ready to go on to the next stage. Go ahead and set this aside. With your leftover mesh, you want to go ahead and clean up the ends so you have a nice clean end to work with. Now you can either cut this with scissors or you can use a rotary cutter. I really like the rotary cutter I got from Dollar Tree. Yes, it was only $1 and I've been using the same one for a long time. They work very well. Okay, so you want to clean up that edge, make sure that's straight. Now you want to cut at about between 8 to 9 inches in length. We're going to try to get 18 cuts so that we can have 18 curls. It doesn't have to be exactly 8 inches. I just aim for between 8 to 9 inches. Okay, so cut the rest of your roll in strips at 8 to 9 inches in length. I got all of my mesh cut and I was able to get 23 pieces cut at 8 inches. Okay, go ahead and set that aside. And this is the ribbon I'm going to be using in the wreath. This one I got from craftoutlet.com. I think it's really pretty. This is, let's see, this is 1.5 inches in diameter. And these rolls come at 10 yards. So 1.5 inches at 10 yards. This one I also got at Craft Outlet. This one is 2.5 inches at 10 yards. This one was $4.13. This one was $4.30. Excuse me, $4.50. And then I got this really pretty lemon ribbon with the buffalo check, black and white in the background. I also got this from Craft Outlet. This was $6.50, and this is 2.5 inches at 10 yards. This one, black and white check. This is 2 inches. This one was at 30 feet. This one I got at Walmart in their Christmas selection like 2 years ago. But any black and white check ribbon will work. For each of your ribbons, you want to cut 6 pieces at 10 inches. I have all my ribbon cut at 10 inches, and I have 6 pieces of each of the ribbons. Now I'm just going to go through and dovetail my ribbon. Now on my wider ribbon here, I don't want a real deep dovetail, so I'm only going to go up about 1/2 inch and then cut down to the point so I don't have a real big dovetail. So that's how I'm going to do my 2 widest ribbons. Now on these 2 ribbons, I'm going to do a little bit more of a dovetail. So go up maybe about 1 inch. I think that looks pretty, a little bit more of a deeper on the smaller ribbon. Go ahead and dovetail all of your ribbon. Hey everyone, I thought I'd come on and say hey. I'm sitting here cutting my ribbon, getting ready to move to the next stop, and we just experienced a little earthquake here in California. That was a bit interesting and a little alarming. I'm working upstairs and the whole upstairs shook. That was kind of scary. But we're okay, everything's okay. Just my nerves were a little rattled. Okay, let me finish getting these prepped and then I'll be right back. Okay, I got all of my ribbon dovetailed and we're ready to go. So we're now going to finish putting in the stuff to fill in the base. I'm going to go around the center pipe cleaners first. And you want to take a piece of your mesh and you want to roll it up. This happened to be near the center, so it's already rolled for me. And then you want to take 2 pieces of ribbon. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of mix up how I put together my ribbon. I'm not going to do all the same ribbon bundles together because I have 4 different kinds of ribbons. I'm going to kind of mix it up as I go through because I'm also going to be using pretty much all of this ribbon in the bow as well. Okay, so I have my 2 ribbon, scrunch that in the center. Then take your roll, go ahead and scrunch that in the center. Take your little bundle and go to your pipe cleaner in the center, place it in there, pull it down nice and tight, and give it a good twist. Give it a couple twists. And then you're going to want to trim it off, leave about 1/2 inch, and then take those ends and push them down. Okay. And then I usually am going to go through and put everything in, and then I'll come back and fluff. But as you can see, you can kind of lift up and move your ribbon, and then you have your curl. Okay, so I'm going to go around and do all of the pipe cleaners on the inside with ribbon and a curl, and then I'll be back. I have all my ribbon in around the center. Now I'm going to move to the outside. Now when I move to the outside, I'm only going to add ribbon to every other one. And the ribbon that I want to add it to is the one in the middle of the other two ribbons, okay? So in between the other two ribbons, which is the one that is not on the crossbar, you want to add your ribbon and one curl. Where the pipe cleaners are on the outside that are next to your ribbon, you just want to add the curl. And I had 5 extra curls, so for each of those, instead of 1, I'm going to put 2, except for the one at the top where I plan on putting my bow, I'll just put 1. Okay, so you want to do the same thing, just move to the outside and do every other one and place them in between. Pinch and place on the outside. And then on the next one, which is right next to this ribbon, I'm not going to put any ribbon, but I'm going to put 2 curls. I'm going to go ahead and finish going around the outside of the wreath and get the rest of my ribbon and curls in. And there you go. I got all of my ribbon in and the rest of my curls. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. And look at how thick and full that wreath is. And that is using 1 roll of your standard 10-inch Deco mesh. And if you can get that on sale at $3.99 for a roll, this is a very budget-friendly craft. Okay, go ahead and set this aside. We are going to go ahead and start working on our bow. The first one I'm going to start with is the polka dot. I'm going to measure my tail at 8 inches and pinch. Pull it down between the 2 large dowel rods, and then I just kind of pull that down. Now, because this ribbon is only nice on one side, you need to twist it once it comes through so that your nice side is facing down. And then I'm going to measure out 6 inches. Come back and slide back through. Once you get through, go ahead and twist so your nice side is facing down. Measure out at 6 inches. And pull back through. Okay, I'm going to do that 2 more times, so I have 3 loops on either side at 6 inches. Measure out your tail and trim. Go ahead and double check your loops. Make sure they're all the same. Everything is tucked down. Now I'm going to move to my lemon ribbon. Measure your tail at 8 inches and pinch, slide in. Twist so the nice side is facing down. And on this one, we're going to measure at 5 inches. This ribbon is so nice. It is nice and thick. It is definitely very well made. And then do the same thing to the other side. Measure out a loop at 5 inches. Twist so the nice side is facing down. And go ahead and add one more loop at 5 inches to either side. Measure out your tail and trim. Next, I'm going to go to the black and white check. 8-inch tail. Now with this ribbon, it's the same on either side, so you do not have to twist. So on this one, I'm going to measure one loop at 5 inches on each side. Pull down your tail and trim. And to my final ribbon, 8-inch tail. When you pull through, twist so the nice side is facing down. And on this loop, we're going to measure at 4 inches. Okay, and then you want to do that one more time. So you have 2 loops at 4 inches on either side. Measure your tail and trim. Now you want to make sure to go through and double check your loops. Make sure everything is where you want it to be. If you need to make any adjustments, now is the time. You will need 1 full-length pipe cleaner. Okay, make sure to grab right next to the center, pinch tight and lift up. Make sure to keep that stacked. Wrap your pipe cleaner around twice. This is a really thick bow, so you want to make sure you get it secure. Pull real tight and give a good twist. Okay, now this pipe cleaner is not going to be long enough for me to attach this bow. So at this time you want to go ahead and add another pipe cleaner in there. So it'll be long enough for you to tie it onto the wreath. And just twist it on and then wrap the pipe cleaners together. Okay, then you just need to go through and pull down all your tails. You want to keep everything stacked. I'm going to pinch it in the center. Pull down your tails. Okay, so when you fluff out your bow, you have your 3 large polka dots in the back. You want to open those up. Then you want to separate your 2 lemon. You'll have your black and white check in between the 2 lemon. And then you have your 2 polka dots. Okay. Now I'm going to add one more piece of ribbon right here in the center to cover up my pipe cleaner. And that's relatively easy to do. Just make sure that your tails are both on the correct side. And in the back, you want to make sure that your pipe cleaners are open. And then you're simply just going to wrap a piece all the way around the center like this. And then you glue it on in the back. So once you've measured your piece, trim it. Once you get it wrapped around, go ahead and add some hot glue in the center and the back. Pull your ribbon over and get that glued down. Now be careful, glue does come through ribbon really quickly, so be careful. I like to use these scraper spatulas that I get from Dollar Tree. They're 100% silicone. This one happens to be by Betty Crocker. They work great when you're dealing with hot glue because if anything sticks to it, when it dries, it wipes right off so you don't burn yourself. Okay, then just decide how tight you want that around there and then glue down the other side. Okay, so that's what it looks like in the back. That's what it looks like in the front. Okay, so go ahead and fluff out your bow and just work with it until you get it the way that you like it. Pull all those tails down. Now I personally like to cut my tails once I get this on the wreath. That way I can kind of see what it looks like. Sometimes I like to leave the tails long. Sometimes I like to cut them short. So I always like to leave that option open. Sometimes I like to cut them all different lengths. Okay, so roughly that's what your bow should look like. Now to attach your bow, just take your pipe cleaners and feed it through the Deco mesh and attach it to your wreath form. I want to put my bow up here, kind of off center. So it looks like that, so I can kind of have the tails going on either side. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get this attached. Okay, so that's where I'm going to place my bow. Go ahead and set this aside. So the last things that I want to add to my wreath are some lemons. I got these from Dollar Tree. They came in a package of 3 for $1, which is a great deal. And then I got a bunch of these, which is called Artificial Fern. These are the ones on the long stems. These were the closest that I could find to leaves that look like lemon leaves. So these are what I'm going to be using. Now to get these prepped, I'm just going to trim off the leaves up until I get to this point. I want to leave some on a stem. So the top 4 leaves, I'm going to leave just like that. But the rest of these I'm going to trim off, and I'm going to do that. So I have all of my lemons out of the bag, and I trimmed down my greenery. I'm now adding my lemons, and these are not very heavy, so I'm just hot gluing them in. Now I had 3 bags and 3 come in a bag, and I don't know if I'm going to be using all 6 of them. Just get a good amount of hot glue on there and then get your lemons placed. So I have all 6 of my lemons in. I just alternated whether I'm inside or near the outside and the angle of the lemons as I moved around the wreath. I'm going to go in and add in my greenery, and I'm going to do that around where I placed all my lemons. And the ones, I just add a little hot glue to the stem there and then place it into the mesh. And there you go. I got all my leaves in around my lemons. I think it looks so bright and cheery. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up and show me some love in the comments. This really does help support my channel. If you enjoy craft tutorials, make sure to check these out. You have a great day, and I will see you next time.